Hey everyone, today on 3MG TV, I'm going to teach you how to find all the notes in all the major scales. This is going to be the conceptual basis for all of the music theory that you're ever going to learn. The sort of ideas that we employ to figure out this stuff is going to be the problem-solving skills that you're going to need no matter if you're working on scales or chords or rhythms or anything like that. The very first thing we have to do is get our chromatic scale, like this. And then we're going to throw it out the window. Something like this works a lot better. We take away the standard notation because we don't want to have a language barrier while we try to do this bit of music math that we're going to do. The first thing we have to conceptualize is that all of the scale theory works on the idea that one note is so far away in a measurement from another note. The basic unit of measurement of the chromatic scale is a half step. So A to A sharp is 1/2 step, B to C is a half step, and so on and so on. Now that we have an idea that half steps are what we're going to be working in, we can pick a starting point to make a major scale of that key. In this example, we're going to work out the key of D. So all I've done here is moved it over to start on D. It's the same chromatic scale in the same order. All I did was move it over because that's going to make it a bit easier to follow along as we skip around to figure out which notes that we need and don't need. Alright, now we're to the important stuff. This I like to call a major scale formula. Now, what it's saying is 0 is the note that you're starting on, and then you're going to move up one whole step, so 2 half steps make a whole, and then another whole step, and then a half, and then a whole and a whole and a half. So follow along. 0 is going to be D, because that's the key we want to be in. And then we're going to go a whole step. So we're going to skip D sharp, because that's a half. 2 halves make a whole, so that puts us at E. Then we need to skip F, because that's another half. We get F sharp, which we need. Then we need a half, so F sharp to G. And then we need a whole, so we skip G sharp and we end up at A, and I bet you can see how it goes from there. The last half, C sharp, will put us back to D, and then the whole thing repeats over and over. Now, the more clever of you may see that we ended up with 2 sharps, F sharp and C sharp. And if you already knew the key of D, then you'll know that that's what we should have ended up with. But let's say that you weren't very familiar with G sharp right off the top of your head. Then we would move our chromatic scale over to start on G sharp, and we would employ our major scale formula, and we would get all the notes to G sharp. The other thing that you can do is on your instrument, you figure out how it is manipulated in half steps. I'm going to do another video talking about how instruments tend to be taught wrong. But if you were a guitar player, you could start on one string and move up a fret or 2 frets at a time because they are half steps, and you can make major scales from any point. Now, that's not all the music theory that a person has to have. However, if it's a regular diatonic chord progression in, say, D, and you want to improvise in D, then you can employ this, play just those notes, and the worst you will be is not wrong or disruptive to the rest of the performance. Get a notepad out or get your keyboard out and work out a bunch of these for yourself, and pretty soon you'll be able to work them out in your head, and that'll make this a lot easier. The idea of eliminating notes from the chromatic scale is the whole crux of all of our music theory. I'll be making another video soon where we take what we did today, turn the notes into numbers, so that we can build other concepts on top of this in a more universal sort of fashion. Alright, I hope that was helpful. If it wasn't, leave a comment, ask some questions, and I'll make some more videos to clarify. There are also going to be videos coming on music tech, and we'll move on to chords and all the rest of the things. See you next time.